Have you ever caught yourself saying something in the heat of the moment and then bitterly regretting it? The truth is that most people live on emotional autopilot. They react before they think. They speak before they reflect. They explode before they breathe. And that's where the problem lies. But what if I told you there was a completely different path? A silent, profound, powerful path. A path where you are not a hostage to your emotions, but rather their master. Where each response you make is charged with awareness, purpose, and wisdom. The secret? It's not about controlling the world, but about mastering your own inner world. And that starts with small daily decisions, pausing before you act, observing before you react, reflecting before you respond. If you feel like you're always putting out emotional fires, maybe it's time to turn on the light of awareness. In this video, you'll discover how to transform impulsive reactions into intentional responses, and that can change everything. Imagine for a moment that you have in your hands the power to transform difficulties into achievements. It may seem unlikely, perhaps. But what if I told you that the key to this lies in silence and in the way you train your mind today? In moments of chaos, while many scream, react in despair, those who cultivate serenity gain an advantage. This self-control does not come about by chance. It is the result of constant, daily mental training. And it all starts with a simple step, a reflective pause. There is immense power in observing instead of acting immediately. By choosing a conscious response, you make room for wisdom to flourish. A disciplined mind does not seek to control everything around it, but rather focuses on the only territory where power is real, internal control. The idea here is not to deny emotions, but to understand them, embrace them and, above all, not be dominated by them. This is the essence of a Stoic mindset, transforming pain into direction, setbacks into lessons and silence into strategy. Ready to begin this journey? Adversities are inevitable. They appear without asking permission, testing our patience, values, and inner strength. But what separates those who sink from those who grow stronger is the way they choose to react. Stoicism teaches us that it is not what happens that shakes us, but the interpretation we give to the facts. In other words, the problem is not the chaos itself, but the lack of mental preparation for it. Those who master themselves, master any situation. Instead of complaining or playing the victim, the Stoic focuses on what can be done. He acts with intentionality, seeking wisdom in the midst of turbulence. This attitude transforms challenges into fertile ground for personal growth. You don't have to wait for a perfect life to achieve peace. True serenity comes when you train your mind to respond with resilience, even when everything seems out of control. And that, yes, is real power. Think about the last time you made a decision out of anger or anxiety. Probably, after a while, you realize that you could have done it differently. This happens because poorly managed emotions distort our clarity. Stoicism invites us to observe our emotions as passing clouds that are present but not permanent. By cultivating mindfulness, you create space between stimulus and action. And in that space lies the freedom of choice. Instead of impulsive reactions, self-control emerges. When the mind is trained, you notice fear, anger, or sadness, but choose not to be guided by them. The conscious response becomes a habit, not an effort. It's like learning to swim in a storm. The emotion is there, but you no longer drown in it. With discipline and self-knowledge, your decisions begin to reflect wisdom, not the chaos of the moment. The great insight of the Stoics was simple. We have no control over the world, but we do have control over ourselves. Instead of trying to change what is outside, they turn their gaze inward. This change of focus changes everything. Imagine losing a job, for example. A common look sees failure and despair. A Stoic look sees an opportunity for reinvention. Reality does not change, but interpretation is transformed, and with it, the course of life. Applying Stoicism to everyday life does not require grand rituals. It is in simple things, like choosing silence when faced with provocation or taking a deep breath before responding to a difficult email. Small daily victories build a new way of being. Over time, this philosophy stops being a theory and becomes a way of living. You begin to act with intentionality, discipline, and virtue. And life, even with its ups and downs, becomes a field of constant growth. How many times has a word spoken on impulse created a problem that lasted for days, weeks, or years? Impulsive reactions are quick, but their consequences can be long and profound. They are the trap of the unprepared mind. Stoicism teaches us that there is a space between impulse and action. And this space is precious, where the reflective pause resides. Breathing, observing, and only then acting is an act of power, not weakness. Responding consciously does not mean being passive. It means choosing wisely which battle is worth fighting and how to fight it. Those who respond with self-control avoid creating unnecessary storms. Each time you pause before reacting, you train your mind to be resilient. Over time, these pauses become part of your being, and your attitudes reflect more virtue and less chaos. Here, you will discover practical techniques to apply Stoicism to your routine, even if you have never read a philosophy book. Everything is simple, direct, and applicable to real life. This is not a distant theory, it is an accessible transformation. We will talk about how to develop self-control without repressing emotions, and how to strengthen your mind without becoming insensitive. The secret is to balance feeling consciously and acting with intention. You will understand how to transform obstacles into allies in your personal growth. How to see difficult moments as an opportunity for evolution, and not a sentence of failure. It is a change of perspective, and it starts now. In the end, you will have tools in your hands that will help you respond wisely where before you only reacted. The difference may seem subtle, but the results are huge. Modern science is, curiously, rediscovering what the Stoics already knew centuries ago. Concepts such as mindfulness, emotional regulation, and neuroplasticity have everything to do with the practice of Stoic self-control. It is philosophy with scientific support. Cognitive psychology, for example, shows how our thoughts shape our experience. This dialogues directly with the Stoic teaching that it is not the things that disturb us, but the opinion we have about them. Coincidence? Not at all. By uniting these two ancient and modern worlds, a powerful approach to dealing with everyday challenges is born. You learn to embrace your emotions, but not to drown in them. You learn to observe yourself without judgment, with awareness and clarity. Practices such as daily emotional journaling or guided meditation are valuable resources. Use an app, start with 5 minutes a day. Little by little, this mindfulness transforms into a new, more serene, centered and wise lifestyle. Reacting is automatic. Responding requires intention. And that is precisely where the wisdom of the Stoics lies, acting based on reason and virtue, not on the impulses of the moment. The conscious response is like an internal filter. You listen, feel, analyze, and only then decide how to act. This does not make you slower, but more effective. Less reactive, more strategic. When you choose the response instead of the reaction, you avoid unnecessary wear and tear and cultivate healthier relationships. This applies to difficult conversations, financial decisions, or even internal conflicts. Consciousness changes everything. Want a practical exercise? The next time something irritates you, count to 10. Literally. And in that interval, ask yourself, what would a wiser version of me do right now? This simple question can become a turning point in your life. In a fast-paced world, pausing is a revolutionary act. It's like hitting the brakes in the middle of a storm to see clearly. The Stoics knew that pausing is where the response aligned with reason is born. Take a deep breath, close your eyes for a few seconds, and listen to your heart before acting. It seems simple, but it can prevent disastrous decisions. Pausing is not a waste of time, it is an investment in wisdom. You can apply this right now. Choose a moment in your day to stop for 1 minute, without stimuli or judgment. Just watch your thoughts pass by, like clouds. This practice builds self-control. Over time, the reflective pause becomes a natural habit. And you will notice that the more internal silence you cultivate, the more power you have over your actions. A calm mind is like a lake that better reflects reality. We cannot always change the facts, but we can always change the meaning we give them. This is one of the greatest strengths of Stoicism, reinterpreting pain as learning, and failure as momentum. When something goes wrong, the ordinary mind asks, why is this happening to me? The Stoic mind asks, what can I learn from this? This simple mental shift transforms suffering into growth. Reframing your perspective is like changing the lens through which you see the world. Instead of seeing a problem as an obstacle, you start to see it as training to become stronger, more resilient, wiser. A powerful practice is to write down, at the end of the day, 3 difficult situations and what they taught you. This exercise trains your brain to find meaning even in the most challenging moments. And that is mental transformation in practice. Most of our anxieties come from the habit of trying to control the uncontrollable. People, opinions, results, all of these are beyond our real reach. But our attitudes and choices? This is what personal mastery is all about. The Stoics were masters at separating what depends on them from what doesn't. They knew that spending energy on the external generates frustration, while focusing on the internal generates power. And this is a daily choice. When you learn to focus on what is within your reach, your thoughts, your discipline, and your response to life become lighter. You stop struggling with the wind and start adjusting your sails. A useful exercise is to list, when faced with a problem, what is under your control and what is not. What is external, accept with serenity. What is internal, act with intention. This simple habit can change the course of your days. Personal growth does not happen by chance, it requires looking inside yourself with honesty. Self-evaluation is like a mirror of the soul, it reveals flaws, but it also shows the path to virtue. It is an exercise in courage. The Stoics had the habit of reviewing their own day before going to sleep. They asked themselves, was I guided by wisdom or by emotion? Did I act justly? Did I react or respond? This ritual strengthens self-knowledge. You can do the same with a simple notebook. Write down your daily actions and analyze where you excelled. Where could you have done better? This practice deepens your awareness and trains your mind to make more aligned choices. Over time, self-assessment stops being a demand and becomes clarity. You begin to see patterns, break cycles, and build a stronger character. Because, At the end of the day, those who know themselves better, live better. Being present seems simple, but in a world of constant distractions, it has become a rare skill. Mindfulness is the state of total awareness in the now, without judgment. And yes, it is deeply Stoic. The Stoics valued the present moment as the only real time. The past is gone, the future does not yet exist. Only in the now can we act virtuously, make conscious decisions and cultivate wisdom. Observing our own thoughts, noticing emotions arising without getting carried away by them, this is self-control in practice. It is not about not feeling, but about not getting lost in what we feel. It is internal control, pure applied Stoicism. You can start with something simple like drinking coffee, just drinking coffee. Feel the aroma, the taste, the warmth. Training your mind to this level of presence helps to strengthen your focus, discipline, and serenity for the big moments too. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require a temple in the Himalayas. You can start right now, right where you are. Small daily practices can make a big difference in how you react to the world. Breathing meditation is a great place to start. Sit comfortably, close your eyes and observe your breathing for a few minutes. When your mind wanders, just gently bring yourself back to focus. Another practice is the body scan. Slowly move your attention from your feet to your head, feeling each part of your body. This grounds you in the present and helps you develop both body and emotional awareness. Finally, mindful observation. Choose an object, sound or sensation and focus fully on it for a minute. Sounds simple? It is. But this simplicity is the foundation for building a stronger and more focused Stoic mindset. Being with someone with your body present but your mind wandering. Who hasn't? Disguised absence is one of the evils of our era. But Stoicism invites us to cultivate real presence, the one that truly listens, observes, and connects. When we practice mindfulness in conversations, we perceive nuances, feelings, and intentions that normally go unnoticed. This strengthens bonds and deepens empathy. Being present is a gift. The Stoics highly valued relationships with others as a practice field for virtue. Patience, active listening, compassion, all of this is self-control training in action. The other person becomes a mirror of our self-control. Want to put this into practice? The next time you talk to someone, put your cell phone aside. Look them in the eyes, listen carefully and respond with intention. It seems simple, but it changes the quality of relationships in your mind too. Philosophy is not just for reading, it is for living. Stoicism shines when it leaves the book and enters your daily life. And the secret is to repeat small habits, with intention, until they become part of who you are. Start your day with a Stoic question: what is in my control today? This prepares your mind to act with clarity. Throughout the day, practice responding rather than reacting in even the simplest situations. The habit of writing a Stoic journal at night helps you review your actions with honesty and compassion. It's not about punishing yourself, but about molding yourself a little more each day. Constant discipline builds your transformation. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Making mistakes is part of the process. The important thing is to keep your intentions firm, your eyes open, and your mind open. With this, Stoicism ceases to be an idea and becomes a lifestyle. Responding wisely is not a destination, it is a daily journey. Each situation, each challenge, each discomfort is an invitation to practice. And practice does not require perfection, it requires presence. The Stoics believe that virtue is built little by little, through small choices. Being courageous in a difficult moment. Being fair in a tense conversation. Being temperate when your desires are louder. These are attitudes that shape character. This journey is like sculpting a statue one stroke at a time, with patience and intention. You will make mistakes, of course. But with each conscious response, your mind grows stronger, your discipline is refined, and your life is transformed. The path to wisdom is not straight, but it is real. And the more you walk it, the more it becomes part of you. May each moment be a new chance to choose virtue with serenity, courage, and purpose. And now, the question that remains is, will you continue to react automatically or will you start responding wisely? The choice is always before you in every conversation, in every challenge, in every thought that arises. Your growth begins the moment you take control of your mind. What will you do with this power? Start small. A pause. A reflection. A journal. A new look at the same problems. Do not underestimate the impact of a mind trained in silence. It can transform everything around it. If this content made you think, imagine what else is yet to come. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications and walk with us on this journey of self-mastery, virtue and real transformation. The next step is yours.